Coming up on FRC Recap, we're through week 5 of the Charge Up season, and we have 31 events that our correspondents from around the world will join us to cover and break down. There were some incredible plays from events this weekend, and we can't wait to hear the details on. Plus, later on the show, we'll have a giveaway from our friends at ThriftyBot. Stay tuned and get ready for FRC Recap.
This video on First Updates Now is made possible by viewers like you and also the following sponsors. Kettering University is looking for talented robotics students who want to continue learning and innovating in a hands-on, real-world experience format. Kettering University representatives will be at dozens of FIRST events this season, including the championship. Go to kettering.edu/first to see which events you can meet a Kettering University representative. FRC competition season is here. Submit your favorite moments to FRC Clips of the Week by each Sunday at discord.gg/firstupdatesnow. Also, the FRC Top 25 poll is open Sunday 5 p.m. Eastern to Monday 5 p.m. Eastern, where you can vote for your top 25 teams of the week at firstupdatesnow.com/FRC Top 25.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to FRC Recap for Week 5. I'm your host, Steve Londo. This week, Fun Correspondents will provide you with recaps of 31 events from all around the world. If you're watching live or on YouTube, put in the comments which events have your attention or anything awesome that you saw that went down this week at any of the events that you were at. Kicking off the show, as we do each and every week, is our first region, the Nor'easter region, covering the U.S. Northeast with 5 events to cover. Let's bring on Ari to talk about the first 2 events. Both of the New England District events were in the Hartford, both of the New England District events, which were the Hartford event and the WPI event. Ari, welcome back to Recap. How did things shake out in New England for you guys this weekend?
Thank you, Steve. This week, we rounded off the season's final 2 events before the New England District Championships. These events provided a peek into what we'll see next week in West Springfield. So, 40 teams traveled out to Hartford, Connecticut this weekend to solidify their place in the rodeo next weekend. All eyes were on 2 teams, 195, the Cyber Knights, and 230, the Gale Hawks. But the depth of the high to mid-tier at this event was substantial. Teams hit the 4th rank point in 20% of their matches. By the end of qualification, it was no surprise that 230 and 195 would seed 1st and 2nd. But in a dramatic set of 3 final qualification rounds, every single top 8 seed would move around. With the depth of the middle of this event and steep drop-off, seeding would be a bit strange and break up a few of the best high mid-tier teams from pairing up. 230 and 195 would select Team 7694, the Iron Lions, for their Engage Auto and head into the playoff rounds. The first round of playoff matches had an average score of 130 match points, and that is every alliance playing in those matches. Not a single alliance in playoffs would score less than 3 links. The 1 seed, however, was far and above the alliance to beat. In the first round, they posted an event high score of 162 and 156 in the second. But also in the second round, Alliance 3 would match that event high score of 162. And I think you know where this is going. Captained by Waterbury District champions 80-85 Mojo, Alliance 3 was an offensive powerhouse with the scoring power of 95, the Grasshoppers, and 31-82, Athena's Warriors. And so these 2 alliances would meet in match 11. And they would tie down to the 3rd tiebreaker, where it would be broken in favor of the 1st seed alliance. Unfortunately, there was a missed automobility score in this match, where all 3 blue robots left the community, but only 2 were counted, which would have given the 3rd seed alliance the win. Either way, 152 to 152 is nothing to sneeze at, and the 3rd seed would once again prove their mettle by posting another event high score in the lower bracket finals with a clean 165 points. I do want to give a shout out to Alliance 2 first pick team 7407 here, though, who successfully got their buddy climb working for these matches, which was pretty cool to see. Finals would not be quite as interesting as the 1 seed swept the rounds with scores of 172 and 143. Congrats to 195 and 230 on their 2nd wins of the season, and Team 7694 for their 1st win in team history. Congrats also go to our Engineering Inspiration winners, Team 178, the 2nd Law Enforcers, and Impact Award winners, 1071 Team Max. It was great to meet a lot of you on the floor. We'll have a 7407 behind the bumpers coming at you. And if you'd like to say hi, next week I'll be at New England District Championships and New York City on Friday. So come say hi. But let's get back to recaps. Worcester Polytechnic Institute hosted 40 teams this weekend. Synonymous with first at this point, WPI has provided a practice field for many teams this season, and now they had the chance to prove it on the real field for their final chance to qualify for district champs. After 80 qualification matches, 1768 Neshoba Robotics was locked into the 1 seed by 8 ranking points. They had a high-scoring auto that paired well with the style of play of Team 6328 Mechanical Advantage. They selected Team 126 Gale Force to round out their powerful alliance. But hey, it's New England. We've got a top-end ceiling, but also a vast and powerful mid-tier. And the well-structured Alliance 5 would end up sending the 1 seed to the lower bracket with a misengage by the 1 seed. The 5 seeds group of triple offense scorers were Team 3205 Patriots, 4905 Andromeda 1, and 348 Norwell Robotics. They'd pave their way to the finals where they'd take on the 2 seed, captained by Open Alliance team and highest teleop scorer of the event, 1757 Wolverines. They were assisted by teams 2370 iBots and 6763 Fusion. They'd take the district in 2 matches, posting highest scores of limbs with 159. Congrats also go to our Engineering Inspiration winners with that gold, silver, cling, bling, 1757 the Wolverines, and Impact Award winners 166 Chop Shop. And shout out to Recap's own Connor on that one. Congrats. With that, I'll hand it back to you, Steve, to continue our way across the Northeast this weekend.
Thanks, Ari, and congrats to our friend there, Connor. Up next is the Northeastern region. In the Northeastern region is Otto, who's covering the FMA district Montgomery. I am just full of tongue twisters tonight. Montgomery event, as well as the FMA district Bensalem event. Hey, Otto, happy Recap Monday. How'd everything go at your events this weekend?
Thanks. At the first Mid-Atlantic Montgomery event, 35 teams from across the district came together to showcase their skills and creativity. Among the teams that participated, some notable ones stood out from the rest. These include 1923, Midnight Inventors, who were the winners of the FMA Mount Olive event. 2495, Hive Mind, who were the winners of the FMA Robbinsville event. And 75, Robo Raiders, who were the eventual winners of the Impact Award. The Midnight Inventors proved their excellence in the qualification matches, where they finished with a 9-3-0 record and secured the first place ranking. They impressed everyone with their efficient cube collector and their impressive cube shooting abilities that could score on any level. They also had a remarkable autonomous mode that allowed them to place 3 cubes within the community and engage on the charging station, giving them a boost for the rest of the match. They selected 1403, Cougar Robotics, and 8714, Robo Griffins, to join their alliance for the playoff matches and had an amazing performance. They faced a challenge in round 4 of match 11 when they were assessed a red card for tipping and immobilizing Team 25, Raider Robotics, a violation of Rule G206. However, they did not give up and fought back to the finals, where they again met the number 2 alliance. They showed their determination and skill by winning the final series with a 2-1 score. Hive Mind's robot features a claw that can rotate with a cone in hand, allowing it to pick up and manipulate them no matter what angle they are tipped at. This unique functionality placed them in 4th place at the conclusion of qualification matches and was recognized when they were the first pick of the second alliance. The final scores were Finals 1, 109-146 in favor of the number 1 alliance. Finals 2, 149-127 in favor of the number 2 alliance. And Finals 3, 111-127 in favor of the number 1 alliance. The Engineering Inspiration Award was won by Team 1089, Team Mercury, and the Impact Award was won by Team 75, Robo Raiders. Their outreach program features a partnership with 3 other teams, a mall takeover, STEM kits to introduce younger children to robotics, and the founding of 5 FLL teams and 2 FTC teams. At the first Mid-Atlantic Bensalem event, there were only 29 teams. Among the teams that participated, notable teams include 272, the Cyber Crusaders, 3314, the Mechanical Mustangs, winners of the FMA Robbinsville event as well, 1391, the Metal Moose, and 9094, the Earthquakers. The Cyber Crusaders had an 11-1-0 record coming out of qualifications, with a mighty lead in first place. They had the best record at the conclusion of qualifications, with the closest being a 9-2-1 record from 3314, the Mechanical Mustangs. Cyber Crusaders had a consistent one-game piece in Gauge Autonomous, which was further complemented by a unique gripper design on their arm, extending their consistency into the teleop period. They chose 1391, the Metal Moose, and 5624, Tiger Tech Robotics, as their alliance partners and strolled into the finals undefeated. In the finals, they faced off against the Mechanical Mustangs, 316 Lunatics, and 5490 the Dark Bite. Their winning streak did not stop there, however, as they swept the series and took home a brand new blue banner. 1994, the Earthquakers, is a rookie team this season with an impressive robot in their pit. Their robot features a swerve drivetrain, a large collector, and the well-utilized ability to launch cubes from the charging station into the first level. They impressed everyone, and they seeded the 8th Alliance. The final scores were Finals 1, 141 to 109 in favor of the number 1 Alliance. Finals 2, 133 to 131, also in favor of the number 1 Alliance. Team 321, the Robo-Lancers, won both of the District Championship Dean's List semifinalist spots. The Rookie All-Star Award was won by 9027, Path to Domination. The Engineering Inspiration Award was won by 272, the Cyber Crusaders, adding some more weight around their necks. And the Impact Award was won by 316, the Lunatics. Back to you.
Thanks, Otto. Our final correspondent for the Northeast region is Nick V, who's here to break down the New York Tech Valley Regional. Nick, thanks for joining us here again on Recap. How was the action out of the New York Tech Valley Regional this weekend?
Thanks, Steve. Moving from the FMA district to the Tech Valley Regional, we have lots of awesome things to cover. It all starts in qualification matches. In Qual 74, we see Team 1511 Rolling Thunder, Team 333 the Megalodons, as well as Team 6621 Artemis go up against your Red Alliance, Team 340 GRR, 6911 Sobots, and 6401 the 8-Bit Rams. Both alliances start out with a strong auto, with an auto engage on both sides of the field. Into teleop, the score stays tight until a traffic jam occurs in the blue loading station. From there, red takes the lead and ultimately wins the match. With a final score of 131 to 127, the blue alliance was certainly no slouch in terms of pointage. These are the matches you love to see, pretty well balanced and fun to watch in the audience. Heading into Finals 1, we see Alliance 1 versus Alliance 6. What an unlikely matchup. Both alliances start with incredible autos, and the teleop period really was electric. Both alliances were cycling feverishly across the field, trying to score as many points as possible. The match ends with an upset, with the number 6 seed beating the number 1 seed. The number 1 seed did not let this stand, however, proceeding to beat the Blue Alliance twice afterwards. These 3 finals matches were super intense, and if this is only week 5, I can't imagine what things are going to be like at championships in the next few weeks. Moving into awards, there are a lot of amazing teams awarded for their great efforts. Team 4930 left the event with 3 blue banners, those being the Regional Impact Award, Woody Flowers Finalist Award, and Event Winner banners. Excellent work, Electric Mayhem, and keep it up. Team 1511 Rolling Thunder won the Regional Engineering Inspiration Award, and your winning alliance was made up of 3015, 4930, and 1796. Since all of these teams have previously qualified for champs, there were a few wild cards that were generated. The whole finalist alliance, 4122, 2791, and 4571 all punched their tickets to champs via the wild cards. Overall, this was an electrifying event and definitely one for the books. Thanks, and back to you, Steve.
All right, so this weekend in Macon, we had the final event before the district championships for the Peachtree District. This one is for all the marbles. The qualification matches were exciting as there were many strong teams here, and no single one stood out as a clear favorite. Many matches ended with high scores that at previous Peachtree events hadn't been seen often until the playoffs. When the dust settled, taking the top rank was 1261, the Robo Lions. They would invite 4th ranked 1771 North Gwinnett and 5219 Techno Squad. This alliance would make their way to finals undefeated, but it wasn't easy. Autonomous programs didn't always work as expected. During one autonomous, it appeared as though 1771 stopped playing Charged Up and decided to play Tony Hawk Pro Skater instead. Unfortunately, no one was playing any ska music, so we knew it wasn't intentional. Our other finalist alliance also had a rocky road to eliminations. The number 2 alliance, led by 6829 Ignite Robotics, and consisted of 6919 the Commodores and 4730 the Terminators. They easily won rounds 1 and 2, but would drop to the lower bracket in round 4 against the number 1 alliance. In round 5 is where the drama began. They were facing off against the 3rd seed, led by powerhouse 1414 IHOT and last year's rookie sensation 8736 the Mechanisms. The match went on looking like any normal playoff match, with both alliances scoring multiple game pieces, leaving the community engaging the charge station. But 6944 would be playing defense for blue, while 4730 would herd cubes and also play defense for red. Around 47 seconds left, 6944 somehow wound up on top of 6919. They didn't know at the time, but this would cause some damage to their robot. They managed to get untangled after about 10 seconds, and with the speed that the Commodores were cycling at, that could have made a difference in the score. With only 30 seconds left in the match, the scores being within 1 point, both alliances went for the triple engage, and both alliances would complete it. After a few minutes of deliberation from the refs, the results were posted. The score would initially come out to be 111 to 117 in favor of blue. Following the match, however, 6919 discovered the damage to their robot, came back and reported it to the refs. Then further deliberation began. You could feel the intensity setting in just watching the stream, and I can only imagine what it was like to be one of those teams. After more discussions and a call to HQ, the score was adjusted, match results reversed. 6944 was issued a tech foul for entering the frame perimeter of 6919 and causing damage, resulting in the final score being 123 to 117 in favor of red. This would lead the number 2 alliance to finals. As finals 1 began, both alliances' autonomous programs didn't go to plan. Due to damage taken in the previous match, 6919 went into defensive mode, putting Blue Alliance in double defense versus Red's double offense. It wasn't the most effective strategy, but it was making a difference over trying and failing to play offense. With an almost 10-point deficit, the Blue Alliance played safe and went for the triple engage early at 30 seconds. In hindsight, they likely could have completed another cycle as they were balanced within 20 seconds left, but I can't say I wouldn't do the same thing in that situation. Red would continue cycling and wait till 10 seconds left to go for a double engage, which seemed like the best move at the time. When the clock hit 0, they had a 17-point lead. However, this would prove fatal for them as they failed to balance. This resulted in number 2 taking the first win by 1 point, 108 to 109. In final 2, the Commodores were back and ready to fight. With the robot fix, it nailed their autonomous program, scoring both their intended game pieces with a total of 4 scored for blue. On the red side, 1261 was the only one to successfully score a game piece in auto. This gave blue the early lead by 10 points. 5219 would play defense for red, but blue would switch strategies, having 4730 herd game pieces into the hybrid nodes. We've heard a lot that triple offense is the name of the game, but would it work for number 2? It appeared as though it was working. As time ticked down, blue had the lead by roughly 15 points. Both alliances had all 3 robots at the charge station lined up at about 12 seconds. Red completed their triple engage quickly with 8 seconds left, but blue took a little longer. It seemed that they wouldn't make it. Is this going to go to finals match number 3? No, with a buzzer beater, Blue Alliance gets all 3 robots balanced on the charge station at 1 second remaining. The final score was 140 to 127 in favor of the Blue Alliance. What an awesome event this was. This event's Engineering Inspiration Award winners were 4112, the Eaglebots, and earning a double gold cling bling with 6919, the Commodores, taking home the Impact Award. All these events have been exciting, and the district champs will be no different. Finally, the South Carolina teams get to face off against the Georgia teams. Will the great numbers and experienced districts pay off for Georgia, or will the few but mighty in South Carolina prevail? Or will there be competition along the border? Tune in next week to find out. I'll be in attendance with my team, 342, so don't be shy and come say hi if you see me. Back to you, Steve.
Thanks, Justin. Staying in the Sweet Tea Southeast region, we've got Evan here to fill us in on what took place out in the first North Carolina District State Championship. Evan, welcome. How things go out in North Carolina this weekend?
Down in North Carolina, things were awesome. The FNC District Championship was undoubtedly the most competitive event of the year, if not the most competitive event ever in North Carolina. This event was located in Greenville, North Carolina, and had 40 teams in attendance, giving it a really deep field compared to other North Carolina events. Some of the top teams going into this event were 7890 Sequence, 4795 eSpots, 3506 Yeti Robotics, 587 the Hedgehogs, and 5727 the Omega Bytes. The rankings at this event were some of the weirdest I have seen. Some quite powerful teams were ranked quite low, and some less powerful teams were carried to the top 8, creating a very interesting alliance selection. Sequence, being of a strong robot and schedule, gave them the #1 seed by an entire ranking point above everybody else. Even during Sunday morning, the ranks were far from settled, with several upsets that decided the rankings. All teams were really close within the top 8. Yeti came in as #2 seed, and both Alliance 1 and Alliance 2 made it to the finals. Sequence paired up with Hedgehogs as well as Team 3229 Optimus Prime. Yeti paired up with eSpots and 6004 FFX Robotics. There were no bad robots or alliances this bracket, and everyone had a shot at finals. Match Starting in the bracket with match 1, Alliance 1 won their first match as expected with a score of 160 to 115. Match 3 was won by Alliance 2, also as predicted. Match 4 was an interesting match in that Alliance 3 was favored to win until 4561. The Terabytes were disabled, costing Alliance 3 that match. Even still, it was an extremely tight match with Alliance 6 winning 140 to 127. Alliance 1 won match 7, 164 to 147. Alliance 2 won match 8, 140 to 100. Alliances 6 and 5 were the next to be eliminated. Match 11 was then between Alliance 1 and 2 and was one of the most interesting matches of the event. Red started off leading by 10 to 15 points after auto, and Blue caught up, starting to gain a lead until eSpots became disabled for the rest of the match, costing Blue their chance of winning that match. Alliance 1 won that match 140 to 118. Match 12 was another very interesting match in that there was quite the upset with Alliance 3 predicted to win, but then Omega Bytes had can issues, costing them the match and causing Alliance 4 to win 105 to 76. That match cost Alliance 4, however, because they had to call for a backup in their next match. Alliance 2 won match 13, putting up the high score of the event with 172 to 96, partly due to a yellow card that Alliance 4 received. The finals were then a rematch of match 11, echoing a trend we have seen with the double elimination bracket system this year. Finals 1 started with Red having a large lead after auto due to Blue missing both of their second auto pieces. As Blue caught up to the Red score later in the match, and right near the end, FFX got stuck on the charge station with 10 seconds left due to a field fault. They were they were helped off by Yeti, but that cost them the double balance. The match was not replayed due to this field fault. The second finals match was much more interesting. This time, both alliances had their auto work perfectly. The scores were close the entire match. However, Yeti was not able to score high this match due to elevator and intake issues and lost many cycles in the process. This led to Blue losing their shot at redemption in the second finals match. Both alliances had a triple balance at the end of the match, and Alliance 1 took home the match and the event with a score of 157 to 130. Moving on to awards, the Dean's List Finalists Award went to Caitlin Nolte and Ava Cummings of 9008 G-Force Robotics and 6004 FFX respectively. Congratulations to Ayala Dumitrescu from 3506 Yeti Robotics for the Woody Flowers Finalist Award. Congratulations also to teams 9000 The Zebra Cakes and G-Force for the Rookie All-Star Award, sending them to Worlds. Congratulations also to Team 3456 Pyrotech for the first Engineering Inspiration Award, and to Yeti for the second one, giving them a double silver Kling Bling. Lastly, a huge congratulations to Team 5727, the Omega Bytes, for their second Impact Award win at states in a row due to their excellent outreach programs and efforts in spreading STEM in their community. Back to you, Steve.
Thanks, Evan. That wraps up the Sweet Tea region for this week. Next up, we head up north to Canada, and Ari is back to talk to us about the Festival de Robotique regional in Three Rivers, Quebec, for us Americans. Ari, thanks for joining us again. How did things play out at your event up in Quebec?
Merci Steve. Allons au Festival de Robotique où 46 équipes se disputaient leur place dans le championnat. 46 teams from 6 countries ventured up to Quebec this weekend to compete in Festival de Robotique regional in Trois-Rivières in Quebec City. Traditional Quebecois powerhouse 3990 Tech for Kids was the team to beat after captaining the 5th seed at Finger Lakes to the semifinals. Every year, 3990 comes out of the gate with a stunningly built robot that gets better with every competition, and this season would be no exception. They seeded first here with a commanding teleop performance and would select Team 3996, Robotique, for their consistency in autonomous. They'd round off their alliance with Team 5618, PLS, who was a great pick from their position with their consistent mid-cube autonomous. They'd spend a few matches getting the alliance synergy down, but by match 11, they'd mesh well. We've seen match 11 play out as a finals preview more than a few times this season, but here it would go a bit differently. Though the 1 and 2 seed played a match within 10 points of each other, the 1 seed would eke out a win and send the 2 seed to the lower bracket, where they'd face off against a well-built 4 seed. Festival has a fairly balanced event, but the alliance that the 4 seed was able to build from their position was smart and collaborated well. 3117, Hartfangs, another consistently top name in Quebec, captained an all-high-placing alliance with teams 8152, Esquad, and 5528, Il Team. 3117's robot is very cool to see in action in particular, because they look like every 3 degree of freedom robotic arm that you see in assembly lines and testing. And it's particularly neat that we have a competition where something like that makes sense to build. Talk about real-world experience. They would defeat the 2 seed in an exciting lower bracket finals by a margin of only 4 points. By the time that finals came around, the 1 seed alliance had found their groove. Putting up 4 links in finals 1 and 3 links in finals 2, Alliance 1 was able to take the regional. Félicitations à 3990, 3996, and 5618 for some excellent gameplay, and our 2 International Cultural Award winners, with 2220 from Minnesota taking the Engineering Inspiration, and 5553 Robotique from France with the Impact Award. Bonne chance au championnat mondial!
Thanks again, Ari. Up next, we have Emma, who's here covering both events being held in the Ontario district again. Up first, she's going to recap the McMaster University event, followed by the Windsor, Essex, Great Lakes event. Emma, welcome back to Fun. How'd your events go up in Canada this weekend?
Thanks, Steve. I think this event had the most competitive playoffs in all of Ontario. With many of the best teams in Canada and the world, this was an event to keep an eye on. Starting the competition off strong, the high score was set early in qualification match 15 by 1241 Theory 6, 1325 Inverse Paradox, and 2200 Robotics. With a score of 182, they filled the grid, but that wouldn't be the only full grid this event. 2056 OP Robotics, not wanting to be outplayed, filled their own grid with 2200 and 4343 Max Tech in Qual 35 and Match 11 during playoffs with their alliance partners 1325 and 4992 Sparbotics. With so much excitement in the qualification round, it is impossible to mention everything that happened. The cooperation criteria was met 78.77% of the time. I knew us Canadians are known for being nice, but this far exceeded my expectations. Moving into the playoff round of this event, being ranked number 1 both at this event and the world, 2056 was already pretty locked in for finals. With 1325 and 4992, they had an amazing run through the elimination bracket, claiming their blue banner. The real tough match up to predict was between Alliance 2 and 3. Alliance 3, captained by Celtex 5406, with 2200 and 7722 Resurrection Mecha Phoenix originally sent Alliance 2 down to the lower bracket. But after matching up again, it would be Alliance 3, 2609 Beaverworks, 1241, and 6854 Viking Robotics moving on to finals. And I haven't even mentioned when Alliance 1 broke the world's high score in playoffs. In match 11, Alliance 1 was matched up with Alliance 3. With valiant efforts from both alliances, not only did the first alliance walk away with the win, but also a new world high score. The official match score was 199 to 143. However, because of penalty points, the new official global record is 189. A quick congratulations to all the award winners, including, but not limited to 6865 for the Impact Award, 1334 for Engineering Inspiration, and 9262 for Rookie All-Star. Now, moving on to the Windsor Essex Great Lakes event. This event was wild from the beginning. In qualification match 14, 2634 the Griffins got beached on their charge station, and the Alliance partners 4617 Dawn helped them get unstuck, beaching themselves in the process. Trying to return the favor, the Griffins got stuck again attempting to rescue Dawn. Now, both robots were beached, but don't worry, both of them were able to get free and continue to play. We had a high score of 168 points in qualification match 35, set by 4907 Thunderstamps, 4946 the Alpha Dogs, and 4920 Bell River Bullheads. Much like the competition at McMaster, these alliances were always willing to help out their opponents, achieving a link on the cooperation grid 78.57% of the time. Playoffs were exciting, with 25 teams vying for that blue banner. In the end, the win went to Alliance 1, captains 4678 Cybercavs, with 4907 Thunderstamps and 5596 the Wolverines. Congratulations to the finalist alliance, captained by 5024 Raider Robotics, 4688 Saintspot, and 5885 Villanova Wildcats. And now for some awards. Congratulations to 5024 for winning the Impact event. 4617 picked up the Engineering Inspiration Award. The Autonomous Award went to 4678, while 5885 picked up the Creativity Award. Excellence in Engineering went to 4907, and 772 won the Gracious Professionalism Award. Congratulations to all the award winners at this event. Thanks, everyone, and back to you, Steve.
Thanks, Emma. Up next is our international region. We have 2 events internationally to cover, so let's head over to James, who's here covering the Bosphorus Regional and the Halic Regional. James, thanks for joining us again here on Recap. How do those international events go down?
The Bosphorus Regional is the first of the regionals that took place in Turkey this weekend and brought together not just the 42 teams from within Turkey, but also teams from India, Croatia, and Romania. After the Istanbul Regional ended in a surprise upset, eyes were on Turkey to see if their top teams could win this time. When qualification finished, it would be Open Alliance team 6838 X-Shark, who would seed first with an 8-1 record and 2.4 RP average. They would select third-ranked 7444 Moonstar Robotics and round out their alliance with the 20th-ranked rookies 9264 the Hunters. The number 1 alliance came out strong, winning their matches with 59-58 and a 35-point victory, the closest of those being match 11 against the alliance number 6, captained by 10th-ranked rookies 9001 Delta Force from Romania. Their first selection, 12th-ranked fellow rookies 9132 Bakashir Technologe Takami, and rounding out the alliance with 15th-ranked 7035 MEF Thunders. Finals 1 would have auto end with a 9-point lead for alliance number 1, with both alliances running triple offense, and the gap would be maintained until 7035 would unfortunately disconnect after going over the cable protector near the charge station. Without their third partner, alliance number 6 was unable to keep up with alliance number 1, and despite the 2 surviving Alliance 6 members both docking and engaging, they were unable to close the gap, despite Alliance 1 only having a single dock. The final score would be 108 to 83. Match 2 would have Alliance 6 come out ahead in auto after 7444 was only able to dock compared to 9001's dock and engage. Scores would be neck and neck until a big hit on 7035 at 80 seconds left in the match left them disconnected once again. Alliance 1 would capitalize once again and would win the second match 118 to 99. Congratulations to 6838, 7444, and 9264, the latter 2 winning their first blue banners. Congratulations are also in order to 9093 Veritas Robotics for their Rookie All-Star Award, 6024 R Factor for their Engineering Inspiration Award, and 68 69-89 Kaiser for their first ever Impact Award win. Many of these teams made their return trip for the Halic Regional that started just 2 days later in the same building. The Halic Regional would bring together a great mix of the previously discussed Bosphorus Regional as well as the Istanbul Regional from last week. The number 1 seed was secured by Istanbul number 1 seed 72-85 Besiktas Arsports with a perfect 8-0 record and a 3.0 ranking score with 2 unicorn matches. They would select the team who ranked first at Bosphorus but ranked third this time, 68-38 X-Shark, and round out their alliance with 35th ranked team 82-20, the Space Tigers. The number 1 seed would win their way to finals with point differentials of 91, 77, and 21. Many expected the second seed alliance of 64-29 Fourth Dimension, 75-36 Anka Robotics, and 87-62 the Enumerium Robotics team, who had met the first seed in match 11 to be their opponents in finals. However, damage to 87-62 resulted in backup team 76-82 Fusion Robotics being called in for match 13, which would decide who would make it to finals. Their opponents would be the 4th seed, captained by Polish sensations 58-83 the Spice Gears, their first selection 80-42 Fenrir, and 81-66 Inteshe. Alliance number 6 would capitalize on the lack of cohesion on number 2 and meet number 1 in the finals after a close match of 93-95. However, finals would just be a showcase for Alliance number 1. Match 1 would start with an 11-point lead for the first alliance. However, despite the best efforts of alliance number 4, they could not keep with the scoring powerhouses on that first seed alliance, and the match would end 131-89. Finals 2 would start closer than Finals 1, with Alliance 1 only having a 6-point lead. However, Alliance 1 would have much better placement of their game pieces, and combined with Alliance 4's failing on the charge station would result in a final score of 146-73. Congratulations to 72-85, 68-38, and 82-20 on the regional win. Congratulations are also in order to 90-83 Team Inertia for their Rookie All-Star Award and wildcard provided via 68-38, as well as 41-91 IMC for their Engineering Inspiration Award, and the oldest team in Turkey, 2905 Sultans of Turkey, for their Impact Award. Thanks to 2905 having engineering inspiration from Hopper last year, 5883 would also receive a wild card. With that, we close out the last event of the international region. The international contingent is coming out swinging this year, and I look forward to seeing how they perform at Champs. With that, it's back to Steve to introduce our next region.
Thanks, James. Great job breaking down those international events for us. Before we get into our regions for our recaps for our InFiMidation region, let's bring on producer Tyler to talk about our sponsor, Kettering University.
Hey, thanks a lot, Steve. Kettering University is going to be all over events coming up at DCMPs and also at the World Championship. If you're looking for a phenomenal college that has over 30% of their students coming from high school robotics, take a look at Kettering University. They have tons of camps that are also coming up during the summer as well. So if you want to get a great taste of what Kettering University has to offer, go to kettering.edu. And if you're interested in seeing where you can find a Kettering University representative at one FIRST event around you, go to kettering.edu/FIRST. Of course, they're going to be at Texas District Championships. They were at North Carolina, and of course at Michigan District Championships as well. And wait for it, the Archimedes field sponsor is at the First World Championships. So head over to kettering.edu/FIRST to see where you can find a Kettering representative.
Thanks, Tyler. Up next, we head into our next region, InFiMidation, or First in Michigan, and we have 5 events to cover. And Nick Jr. is here to start us off to break down the Macomb Community College event. Talking words are hard. Nick, good to see you again, buddy. Welcome back. How did things shake out at MCC this weekend?
Thanks, Steve. Heading into the final week of district qualifying events here in FIM, many teams on the border are trying to make their push to arguably the greatest FRC competition to date, the Michigan State Championship next weekend, which will house 4 divisions with 4 fields and 160 teams. The first district that we recap tonight is down in southeast Michigan at Macomb Community College. Teams I liked a lot coming into this event were 3175 Night Vision from Grosse Pointe Woods and 5460 Strike Zone from Lapeer. Both won their Week 1 events and look to be a near lock for this event in my opinion. Other teams in the mix were 1189 Gearheads, who had a great showing at Wayne State, 3539 Biting Bulldogs, 1701 the RoboCubs, who won Detroit, and 818 Steel Armadillos, who had a great showing last week at Troy. After the dust had settled after quals, it would be 3175 in a very commanding lead for the 1 seed, and they would select, to no surprise, 5460 Strike Zone to join the number 1 seed with 2604 Metal and Soul. The 2 seed would be led by 818 Steel Armadillos, and they would select 3539 the Biting Bulldogs and 5046 Jacked Up Jackets from Memphis. That would put 1701 in the 3 spot to select 1189 the Gearheads and 5860 Full Metal Muskrats. Finally, 5901 the Electric Eels would be your 4 captain and would select 5926 Demoose and 4810 I Am Robot. Moving into the elimination rounds, there were upsets everywhere. All the top seeds would advance in round 1, but after a mechanical failure prevented 1 seed 5460 from moving at all in their second match, they would lose to the 4 seed in round 2. The 3 seed led by 1701 and 1189 also upset the 2 seed in round 2 and sent them to the losers bracket. The 3 seed would win their match against 4 and move to the finals, while the 1 seed battled their way back to the finals, winning in the lower bracket. In the finals, the firepower of the number 1 alliance was too much for the 3 and would leave the Macomb District champions going to 3175 Night Vision, 5460 Strike Zone, and 2604 Metal and Soul, and 6085 the Green Devilbots as the backup called in match 3 for the 1 seed. First impact was taken home by 2604 Metal and Soul for that double gold Kling Bling, Engineering Inspiration by 3539 the Biting Bulldogs from Romeo, and finally Rookie All-Star was taken home by 9212 Bulldog from Harper Woods. Back to you, Steve.
Thanks, Nick. Up next, we have Dan, who's bringing us 2 great events, the FIM District Kentwood event and the Livonia District event. Dan, good to have you back on Recap. How were your events this weekend?
Thanks, Steve. This was actually the first week I didn't attend a competition, but boy, did I miss out. We had some great competitions in the Michigan area. Kentwood would see 39 teams, including 5 rookies, and qualifications would end up in a race between 2075 Enigma Robotics from Grand Rapids and 4391 Bravebots, who came all the way down from Gladstone in the western part of the UP for a third play. Ultimately, 4391 would end up going 11-1 with 40 ranking points and beat out 2075, who went 12-0 with 39 ranking points. Third would go to 6090, who went 8-4 and had 32 ranking points. 4391 would pick 2075 while getting 9215 for their third robot, and 6090 would take 4967 and get 6114. In the playoffs, we had a perfect upper bracket where the number 1 alliance would cruise to the finals. Meanwhile, in the lower bracket, the red alliance would always win. This set up an expected 1v2 finals. In finals 1, the number 1 alliance would get a 5-point advantage in auto. The number 1 alliance would go with a 3 offense strategy, and the number 2 alliance would play a 2 offense, 1 defense strategy for teleop. The number 2 alliance would claw back and lead 117 to 111 going into endgame, but after a failed triple balance by the number 1 alliance, the game would be blown wide open, and the number 2 alliance would get the first one for any blue alliance in playoffs, winning 147 to 119. Finals 2 would be a very similar story for both strategy and Auton. However, 6090, the Alliance 2 captain, would look to have their arm fail with around 90 seconds remaining, go to engage their docking station with well over a minute left in the match. With it being a 3v2 at that point, the number 1 alliance would end up running away with the match, win 163 to 118, setting up a third winner-take-all final. In Finals 3, the number 2 alliance would switch to a triple offense strategy. The number 1 alliance would simply outcycle the number 2 alliance and eke out a 171 to 160 win to take home the gold. Congrats to 4391 Bravebots, 2075 Enigma Robotics, and 8215 T-Town Tech on the gold. And congrats to 6090 Wayland Wildcats, 4967 That One Team, and 6114 Hamilton Cyberhawks on the silver. 2771 Code Red Robotics would take home the Impact Award of their second banner of the year, and 4967 would take home EI for a double silver Kling Bling. And I was really looking forward to hopefully seeing this team at States this weekend. However, they did not quite have the points to make it. Jumping over to Livonia, we had 40 teams with 4 rookies, and we'd see very similar rankings, but this time it would be 5907, the CC Shambots taking first, going 11-1 with 39 ranking points, and 7220 in a distant second with 31 ranking points, with 2832 taking third with 31 ranking points as well. 5907 would pick up 3641 the Flying Toasters and get 6532 for their third robot. 7220 would pick up 51 the Wings of Fire and get 5695 for their third, and 2832 would take 8179 and get 6057. for the third alliance. In playoffs, once again, we had a perfect upper bracket. Meanwhile, the lower bracket, the 5th seed would upset the 3rd seed in match 11, with the 2nd seed who lost to the 1st seed in match 11 would face the 3rd seed or face the 5th seed who won in match 12 and beat the 5th seed in 13, setting up a 1v2 finals. And finals 1 would be the second alliance coming out with the advantage after auto, and we'd see alliance 1 play a 2 offense, 1 defense strategy, alliance 2 going triple offense. The number 1 alliance would crawl back as the second alliance ended up getting really congested in their loading station. The game would ultimately be decided in the last seconds of the end game, as Alliance 2 had all 3 robots up on the charging station, but Alliance 1 would struggle to balance, having one of their robots back off with around 2 seconds to go. They would pull out a balance after t equals 0, winning the game 139 to 120 or 139 to 132. In finals 2, the second alliance would come out after auto with the advantage again. Number 1 alliance's defensive robot would have their intake break loose early on in teleop, significantly hammering their ability to play defense without drawing G204 fouls, and effectively sit dead in the middle of the field for the rest of the match, leading to the number 2 alliance having a sizable 152 to 132 win, and sending this to a finals 3 as well. In finals 3, alliance 2 would miss engaging their charging station in auto, and alliance 2 would score more game pieces than alliance 1, trying to make up for it. However, alliance 1 would have a better link completion, giving them a slight edge on game piece points. And ultimately, the final nail in the coffin for alliance 2 would be when alliance 1 triple balanced with 10 seconds to go, taking home the gold for the number 1 alliance. Congrats to 5907 CC Shambots, 3641 the Flying Toasters, and 6532 Techno Pass on the gold. And congrats to 7220 Steel Falcons, 51 the Wings of Fire, and 5695 Heavy Duty Eagles on the silver. 3641 would take home the Impact Award for the double gold Kling Bling, and 8179 Robo Falcons would take home EI. Back to you, Steve.
Thanks, Dan. We've got 2 more events to cover here in InFiMidation. And up next is James, who's recapping the action from the Film District Salem event, or excuse me, Saline event. James, welcome back to Recap. It's good to see you again. How did things shake out in Saline?
The First in Michigan Saline event did not disappoint, as several competitive teams battled it out for the right to be named Saline District Champions. Lightning, Cowtown, Team Robotics, Digital Dislocators, Adams Family, Eagle Evolution, this was an event to watch. The event's high score occurred in Qual 70 with an unpenalized score of 153, put up by 862, 6081, and 3707. After 72 qualification matches, 1 team rose to the top. That's Team 5050 Cowtown Robotics. They selected Team 862 Lightning Robotics to join their number 1 alliance. Team 4405 the Adams Family captained the number 2 alliance and selected Team 107 Team Robotics. Team 6081 the Digital Dislocators captained the 3 alliance and selected Team 3322 Eagle Evolution to round out the top 3 seeded alliances. Playoffs went relatively as expected, with the 1, 2, and 3 seeds making it all the way to the top 3 places, with the 1st seed winning the lower bracket against the 2 seed to play the 3 seed in the finals. The finals were rough, with a collision of 50-50 of the number 1 alliance tipping over 88-95 of the number 3 alliance, resulting in a red card against the number 1 alliance in finals 1. They battled back in an epic match 2. However, in finals 3, it was ultimately the number 3 alliance who would prevail and take home the win. Congratulations to Team 6081 the Digital Dislocators, Team 3322 Eagle Evolution, and Team 8895 Red Wolves Robotics on the event win. Team 1502 Technical Difficulties won EI, 9210 won Rookie All-Star, and Team 862 Lightning Robotics claimed a Kling Bling with a first Impact Award win. Congrats to all teams, and best of luck next week at MSC. Back to you in the studio, Steve.
Thanks, James. Our final event of the Michigan region is the Film District Troy number 2 event, and Mike's back to break that one down for us. Mike, welcome back to Recap. How was the competition out at Troy number 2 this weekend?
Thanks, Steve. Troy was definitely the event to watch this weekend with loads of excitement. Featured double event winners 3538 RoboJackets, as well as Detroit winner 2337 Engine Nerds, Wayne State winner 7769 Crew, and the Chimeras 1684 were hungry for a win after a finals exit at Kettering 2. In a tight qualification matchup, 35-38 edged out 245 Atombots by 1 RP to secure the 1 seed, and they selected 23-37 Engineers. They added 78-56 UPAD Fusion from Detroit, and the Engineers had previously paired up with them at Detroit in week 3. The 1 alliance was immediately in trouble, as Engineers were unable to score in match 1. That was sufficient to get past round 1, but they could not handle match 5, where they faced the 4 seed of Chimeras 1684, 7211 Hollywood, and 5612 Roboraptors from Burton. With Engineers playing defense, the number 1 alliance tumbled into the lower bracket. The Nerds got it together, they got their arm fixed, and they were able to defeat the 3, 5, and 2 seeds, putting up an event high score of 167. And that set them up to go against the 4 seed again in the finals. In match 1, a hard hit from 23-37 knocked over 56-12, but they did not get a penalty. And with no one to slow them down, the 1 seed put up an impressive performance and took the match 156-134. The 4 seed came back strong, and match 2 was tight. With nearly identical grids, the match was decided on penalties. 78-56 got shoved into the opposing community and drew several fouls. The 4 seed took the match 160-153. And finals 3 was decided in Auton, but it was the wildest Auton I've ever seen. Nerds hit the charge station in Auton, flipped, self-righted with their arm, and then charged full speed into the opponent double substation, where their arm got stuck and they did a pull-up. They were able to free themselves in teleop, but unfortunately they damaged something along the way and were unable to score high for the match, so they ran low cycles. So the 4 seed took the match 165-98. Congrats to 1684 Chimeras, 7211 Hollywood, and 5612 Roboraptors for their win, and to 35-38, 23-37, and 78-56 for their finalist appearance. This gives the Engineers their 7th finalist finish at Troy, an event they haven't won since 2011, so the curse lives on. This also ends 35-38's win streak. They have won every FIM district they've attended since 2017. That's 11 FIM districts. 469 Los Gorillas, 1 Impact, 245 Atombots, 1 EI, and Rookie All-Star went to 9203 Quake from Lansing. Back to you, Steve.
Thanks, Mike. Overall, yeah, a great event. And I didn't find out about that RoboJackets streak until after the event, and that's just mind-boggling. Congrats on an unbelievable streak. Great event. Thanks, Mike. Up next, we're heading to the North region, or Midwest, as they like to call it, and we have 4 events on tap. First, let's bring back Mike to break down the Buckeye Regional. And, well, from the Wolverine State to the Buckeye State, Mike, how'd the Buckeye Regional go this week?
Buckeye proved to be a fun event. It featured 52 teams from Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Kentucky. And of course, going into it, the 2-time event winner 695 Bison Robotics from Beechwood, Ohio, were the favorites. They were providing the only wild card for the event. But their main competition proved to be Beak Squad 4028 from Cincinnati. Beak Squad clinched the number 1 seed with an impressive 10-0 performance, only missing out on 2 RP. They selected 695 and 5667, the Digital Eagles from New Albany, Ohio. And wow, did they put up a dominant performance. If you told me we'd see a penalty-free 180 in the first playoff match at Buckeye, I would not have believed you. This one alliance was 1 piece short of a full grid, and they didn't slow down any time in elims. They defeated 8, 5, and 2 seeds with scores of 180, 160, and 176. Apart from the 1 seed, there was a lot of excitement in the 2v3 rematch. Match 8, when they first played, the 3 seed alliance captain 4611 Ozone subbed themselves out. Backup bot 5413 Stellar Robotics from Shelby, Ohio filled in with defense to play alongside 48 Elite and 3201 Ross Rambotics. But it wasn't enough to take out the 2 seed without their alliance captain. But the beauty of the new bracket system, that gave them a rematch, and they were able to show their full potential and earn a spot in the finals. Finals 1 was another dominant performance from the 1 seed. They put up 169 points, but were red carded because 695 tipped 3201. So the 3 seed took the match 141-0. Finals 2, the 1 seed played a clean match and dominated 181 to 132. And Finals 3, 3201 lost a bumper in a hard collision and was disabled, but it didn't turn out to matter. The 1 seed still took it 165 to 120. Congrats to our winners, 4028 Beak Squad, 695 Bison Robotics, and 5667 Digital Eagles. And to our finalists, 4611 Ozone from Delaware, Ohio, Elite 48 from Warren, and 3201 Ross Robotics from Hamilton, as well as 5413 Stellar Robotics. 4145 Warbots from Columbus took the Impact Award. Congrats to them. I know they certainly had an impact on us this weekend. EI went to 2399, the Fighting Unicorns, and 9075 Lunar Robotics took Rookie All-Star. Back to you, Steve.
Thanks, Mike. Up next, we welcome Adam back to break down the action from the Finn District Greenwood event. Adam, welcome back. How things go out in Indiana this weekend?
Thank you, Steve. Welcome back to the Finn Fam, where this week we had the Greenwood District event. The event was charged up with action and quick turnarounds as there was only 28 teams. Team 1741 Red Alert had their best run so far, ranking 9th overall and leading their alliances to many triple balances. Be sure to check out how their team took the event by storm and an upcoming Behind the Bumpers. We also saw 3940 Cybertooth in their second district event of the season, ranked first after a back-and-forth all event. Moving on to elims, this event was incredibly unexpected, seeing our 8th alliance claim a win over the first, 6 upsets, and a score adjustment that changed what team was sent to the finals. In the end, it was the second alliance made up of 1501 Team Thrust, 5188 Area 5188 Classified Robotics, and 1555 Cryofrost against the 6th alliance led by 1741 Red Alert and joined by 3176 Purple Precision and 3947 The Last Crusaders. With a finals win score of 134 to 89 and finals 2 ending with an incredibly close score of 126 to 120, the second alliance secured a victory, going undefeated in eliminations. Moving to awards, Team 7454 Huskies on Hogs won the Impact Award, Team 3940 Cybertooth won Engineering Inspiration, and with 0 rookies at the event, there was no Rookie All-Star. This week I will be attending the Finn District Champ, where I wish good luck to all teams competing and hope to meet many of you. Back to you, Steve.
Great, thanks, Adam. Up next, let's bring back Robothino, who is here to recap the action from the Seven Rivers Regional. Welcome back. How things go out at your event there, Robothino?
Thanks, Steve. Yes. Wandering back on over to the Tyler country, across Wisconsin, for the Seven Rivers Regional. Feel like I was just there a week ago. Well, 54 teams battled it out through 90 rounds of qualifications. We would see nobody go undefeated, but in the end, we would see 111 Wild Stang take that top spot. They would go on to pick 2338, gear it forward, and round it off with 5586 Bond Brigade. This alliance would make their way to the finals with the lowest score in their matches, in match 7 being 180. Though in the finals, they would see Seed 2, captained by 7021 TC Robotics, with their first pick 2481 Roboteers, and rounding off with 2194 Bondi Fire. Match number 1 in the finals, we would see Seed 1 Red scoring all but one lower piece in the grid. This would give them the win in Finals 1 with 184 points to Blue's 156. Finals 2 would be a very similar match with a slight lead for Red coming out of Autonomous 47 to 42. Blue had to make up some points, but there was just nothing slowing down this Red team's ability to score. Once again, only missing a single piece low to get that full grid, they would secure their victory once again with a 184 to 175. So, congrats to 111, 2338, and 5586. And also congratulations to 2481 Roboteers on their Impact Award. 2338 with some gold, silver, cling, bling, picking up the Engineering Inspiration Award. Back to you, Steve.
Thanks, Robotino. Rounding out the North region, we have fun correspondent Samantha, who is at the Minnesota 10,000 Lakes Regional. Samantha, welcome back. How was the land of the 10,000 lakes this weekend?
Thanks, Steve. The 10,000 Lakes Regional took place in Minneapolis, Minnesota, with 61 teams competing. Over 92 qualification matches, there was an average score of 80 and a high of 144. Heading into Alliance selections, ranked number 1, 2052 Nightcrawler picks up number 2 rank 5913 Patriotics. This was a tried and true pairing, with both teams having won together at Northern Lights in week 1 as part of the number 1 Alliance. And this time they were joined by 7258 Robo Lobos as their second pick. Seeds 3 through 7 were tied with a ranking score of 2.77. Alliance selections was definitely interesting, with the rankings jumping around so much throughout the last qualification matches. Playoffs had 5 upsets, an average score of 125, and a high clean score of 173. Alliance 1 had a clear path to victory, winning the matches by an average win margin of 46 points. There's not really too much to say here. Alliance 1 was a powerful alliance. Alliance 7 had a wild ride, though, with the whole mix of a close match, a big win, a big loss, and then a big win. Finals saw Alliances 1 versus 7 with some fast-played and captivating matches. Alliance 1 won 170 to 116 and 148 to 112. Congratulations to the number 1 Alliance for taking the win. The captain was 2052 Nightcrawler, first pick 5913 Patriotics, second pick 7258 Robo Lobos. And a huge well done to finalist Alliance 7. The captain 5434 Falcon Robotics, first pick 3082 Chicken Bot Pie, second pick 4198 RoboCats, and their backup 8234 Panthenators. Congratulations to our impact winner, 2491 No Mythic, and our engineering inspiration, 4663 Cyber Tigers. I hear these awards came as a big surprise to both of these teams. Well done, teams. Thank you, and well done to everyone who competed. Back to you, Steve.
Thanks, Samantha. Moving on to the mouth of the South region, and we start with Tausif, who's bringing us the action from 3 events this week. He'll be breaking down the Fit District Amarillo event, the Fit District Space City at Clear Lake event, and the Bayou Regional. Howdy, Tausif. How are your events down south this weekend?
Thanks, Steve. Now, at week 1, you made a pun that I am not the mouth of the South. Well, today, I am the mouth of the South. Because these 3 events that I'm covering are the most insane events I have seen so far. Let's start with the most remote First in Texas event this season. It's the First in Texas Amarillo District event. I was at this event wearing my Fun Crew jacket, and yes, I know, I was a living shameless plug at that event, but it is comfy, especially since the event took place on top of a ice rink. This event hosted 39 teams, with everyone keeping an eye on 148 Robo Wranglers, 3310 Blackhawk Robotics, and 4206 Robo Vikes. Throughout the 78 qual matches, my favorite was qual 59, where I did the FTA thumbs up. Thanks to Riley for allowing me to do it. But with all seriousness, this event had probably the most cards given during qual matches throughout the entire First in Texas district. This event had 3 yellows cards and 1 red card given during qualifications. Now, the number 1 seed went to 3310 Blackhawk Robotics, who picked their hashtag All Black Everything partner 148 Robo Wranglers, as well as 6768 Denison Robo Jackets. For playoffs, round 1, we saw 1 upset of Alliance 6 beat Alliance 3 in match 4, 127 to 111. Round 2, we saw Alliance 1 acquire 9136 Rampage as a backup robot. We also saw Alliance 6 beat Alliance 2 in match 8, 128 to 128. Yes, it was a tie, but the tiebreaker was the charging station points, with the points being 38 to 30 in the favor of Alliance 6. Round 3, Alliance 4 beat Alliance 3 in match 9, 133 to 129. Round 4, Alliance 6 was going up against Alliance 1, but Alliance 1 was able to take the win in match 11, 175 to 87. Round 5, Alliance 6 lost to Alliance 2 in match 13, 142 to 82. In finals, we had the 1v2 matchup. These alliances didn't see each other at all during playoffs, so anything could happen. In finals 1, it was neck to neck. The live score was always tied, but Alliance 2 was able to have faster cycles near the end of the match, giving Alliance 2 the win, 158 to 148. Now, in finals 2, the match was also neck to neck. Alliance 1 was trying to take finals to a tiebreaker match. Unfortunately, 148 was presented with a red card for a G206 violation, giving Alliance 2 the win. Congratulations to 1745, the P51 Mustangs, 4206 Robobikes, and 3676 Redshift Robotics for winning the 2023 Fit Amarillo District event. For awards, congratulations to 6369 Mercenary Robotics for winning the Impact Award. Congratulations to 5411 RoboTalons for the Engineering Inspiration Award. And congratulations to 9105 Techno Talents for winning the Rookie All-Star Award. Both Talons won an award this event. Now heading to basically the third Houston event this season so far. We have the First in Texas Space City at Clear Lake District event hosting 34 teams. Teams that we kept our eyes on was 118 Robonauts, who basically is competing at their third district event of the season, but also their fourth event overall of the season. Another team was 324 Chips and 5427 Steel Talons. The number 1 seed went to 118 Robonauts, who picked their sister team 324 Chips, and they also picked 2966 Tiger Tech. For playoffs, round 1, Alliance 6 beat Alliance 4 in match 2, 116 to 81, and Alliance 6 beat Alliance 3 in match 4, 87 to 71. Round 2, Alliance 7 beat Alliance 3 in match 6, 88 to 84. In round 3, Alliance 7 beat Alliance 5 in match 9, 84 to 59. In round 4, we saw Alliance 1 acquire 2969 Aftermath as the backup robot. We also saw Alliance 7 reign come to an end by Alliance 4 in match 12, 122 to 75. In round 5, no upsets in round 5, giving us the 1v2 matchup in finals. In finals, we saw Alliance 1 and 2 face head-to-head for the title event champion. In finals 1, the results were as expected. Alliance 1 beat Alliance 2 148 to 127. However, in finals 2, the hope for Alliance 2 was alive, as 118's scoring and engage auto failed. But soon after, Alliance 2 captain 6357 stopped moving. With Alliance 2 captain out and being up only by 30 points, all was lost for Blue Alliance. Unknowingly to them, though, a cone was stuck in 118, causing them to be unable to score. With the help of 8144's intense and aggressive defense, the Alliance 1's failed endgame, Alliance 2 was able to win finals 2 103 to 78. Now, in the tiebreaker match, the atmosphere was energetic as attendees were wondering if Alliance 2 had in them to upset the event favorites. Coming out of auto, Alliance 1 took the lead 42 points, ran throughout the match with a 20-point lead, but the last 10 seconds, Alliance 2 was less than 10 points away. At 5 seconds, Alliance 2 was triple engaged, while no one was on the charging station for Alliance 1. At the end of the match, Alliance 1 only had one robot engaged and one parked. The crowd erupted with cheers as the final scores displayed. Alliance 2 had the upset by winning 133 to 130. Congratulations to 6357, the Spring Constants, 231 High Voltage, and 8144 Red Chair Robotics for winning the 2023 First in Texas Space City at Clear Lake District event. For awards, congratulations to 5427 Steel Talons for winning the Impact Award. Congratulations to 7312 T3 for winning the Engineering Inspiration Award. And congratulations to 9081 Plutonium for winning the Rookie All-Star Award. Before I start the Bayou Regional, I want to give a huge congratulations to all the First and Texas teams for their amazing performances this season. And I am excited to see all the top 80 teams that qualified for First and Texas DCMP this weekend. I will be there as a lead queuer, so if you see me with my NASA hat, come say hi. Now heading east on I-10. I believe it's east for me, so east for you there. But heading on I-10, we are at the Bayou Regional in Kenner, Louisiana, hosting 39 teams. There were many powerhouses such as Team 16 Bomb Squad, 45-22 Team Scream, who decided not to leave out their junior team out for this event, and 46-35 Prepper Bot Busters. A quick history lesson. 16 won Arkansas. 45-22 were finalists in the past events, and they lost to their junior team. And 46-35 had won 2 events in Mexico. Now, the number 1 seed went to 45-22 Team Scream, who picked up 46-35 Prepper Bot Busters, as well as 2080 Robotics. For playoffs, round 1, Alliance 5 beat Alliance 6 in match 2, 138-133. Round 2, Alliance 8 beat Alliance 4 in match 5, 110-102. And also in round 2, Alliance 5 upsets Alliance 1 in match 5, 167-139. Alliance 2 also lost to Alliance 3 in match 8, 144-125, sending both Alliance 1 and Alliance 2 to lower bracket. Round 3, no upsets happened. In round 4, Alliance 3 won against Alliance 5 in match 11, 157-150, sending Alliance 3 to the finals. Also in round 4, Alliance 1 went against Alliance 2. And remember, this is the lower bracket, so whoever loses is eliminated. And let me tell you something. Oh boy, this match was close. It was down to the wire. But alas, Alliance 1 came out victorious, 156-155, a 1-point difference. Round 5, Alliance 1 beat Alliance 5 in match 13, 155-117, sending Alliance 1 to the finals against Alliance 3. Now, in Finals 1, Alliance 1 lost against Alliance 3 after a thrilling fight, 150-139. In Finals 2, 46-35 broke, causing them to play hard defense, which allowed them to force a rubber match. Now, in Finals 3, Alliance 1 was able to come back and win the event, 137-118. Congratulations, the number 1 Alliance, for winning the Bayou Regional. For awards, congratulations to 3616 Team Phenomenon for winning the Impact Award. Congratulations to 2080 Robotics for the Engineering Inspiration Award. And congratulations to 9153 Bearcat Robotics for winning the Rookie All-Star Award. Now back to you, Steve.
Thanks, Tassif. Up next, we've got James back to break down the Greater Kansas City Regional and the Smoky Mountains Regional. James pulling extra duty this week. Thanks for joining us here on Recap again. How'd your 2 regionals go?
The Greater Kansas City Regional in Lee Summit, Missouri brought together 36 teams from 4 states and 2 countries. After 72 quals matches, it would be the hometown favorites, 1987, the Bronco Bots, who would secure the number 1 seed with a 9-3 record, a 3.333 ranking score, and all 9 of their wins being unicorn matches. They would select the 3rd-ranked team, 4213 Metal Cow Robotics from Bloomington, Illinois, and round out their alliance with 25th-ranked 2539 Robo Lobos from Edmonton, Oklahoma. The multi-state number 1 seed would win their way to finals with point differentials of 78, 31, and 66. The closest match being in match 7 against the 5th seed of 5801 CTC Inspire from Independence, Missouri, 1802 Team South from Kansas City, Kansas, and 2457 The Law from Lawson, Missouri. And the 5th seed would win their way through the lower bracket to meet Alliance 1 in the finals. Match 1 of the finals will start with a 3-game piece auto from 1987 and a 19-point lead for the Alliance number 1. Alliance 5 would cycle very quickly and eventually close the gap to just 5 points before 2457 would be shoved into the other Alliance community and draw some penalties. Both alliances would triple dock and engage, and Alliance number 1 would take the first finals match 149-134. Finals 2 started slightly closer than Finals 1, with Alliance 1 only having an 18-point lead this time. Unfortunately, Alliance 5 would not be able to outcycle Alliance 1 this time, and despite a triple dock and engage to Alliance 1's only double dock and engage, Alliance 1 would still take the win, 154 to 125. Congratulations to 1987, 42-13, and 25-39 for the regional win. Congratulations are also in order to 9085 Sesai Sinai Mega Harpy from Sao Paulo, Brazil for their Rookie All-Star Award, as well as fellow Sao Paulo team 7563 Sesai Sinai Megazord for the Engineering Inspiration Award, and a 1710 the Robotics Revolution for their Impact Award. 1710, 7563, and 1987 all produced wildcards. However, 1985 had an Engineering Inspiration Award win from earlier in the season, and 2457 had a previous win, resulting in 5801 and 1802 getting wildcard invitations and one wildcard remaining unused. We now head 725 miles east to the Smoky Mountain Regional in Knoxville, Tennessee, with 37 teams from 9 states and one team making the trip from China. A lot of competing ideas for how to play this game are represented during qualifications and into elims, where the average point differential was only 19 points. Heading into elims, the number 1 seed was captained by 2451 Ponage from St. Charles, Illinois, with a perfect 10-0 record, 3.7 ranking score, and 7 unicorn matches. They would select the 7th-ranked team, 1730, Team Driven from the previously mentioned Lee Summit, Missouri, and round out their alliance with 24th-ranked hometown hero, 6517, Sono Robo. Another multi-state number 1 seed, but they would not have an easy trip to the finals. In match 1, the 8th seed alliance of 4576 Red Nation Robotics, 5492 Winner Circle Robo Jockeys, and 2393 Roboticons would be ahead at many points of the match, and had they secured the triple dock and engage, they would have won. But ultimately, Alliance 1 would be victorious, 125 to 106. They would next face the 4th seed alliance of 3140 Flagship, 4265 the Secret City Wildbots, and 3984 Topper Robotics, where Alliance number 1 would be behind after auto, and after quick cycles and a triple dock and engage to Alliance 4's only triple dots, Alliance 1 would take the victory, 146 to 132. In match 11, to decide who would go to finals, they would face Alliance 2 of 4020 Cybertribe, 325 Red Spawn Robotics, and 3281 the Pyrobots. Alliance 1 would once again start the match in a deficit after auto. However, Sono Robo's low cycling would be the difference for number 1, and they would win the match 164 to 153. Meeting Alliance 1 in the finals would be their opponents from match 7, Alliance number 4. Match 1 would start with Alliance number 1 in familiar territory, starting down 12 points in auto. Both alliances would run triple offense, and the lead would trade back and forth before triple dock and engage on both sides would result in a win from Alliance 1 and a score of 158 to 144. Finals 2 started slightly closer than Finals 1, with Alliance 1 only starting down 4 points this time. Another back-and-forth match would follow, with 65-17 ultimately tipping over. However, a double dock and engage was all Alliance 1 would need to secure the victory, 149 to 139. Congratulations to 24-51, 17-30, and 65-17 on the regional win. Congratulations are also in order to Team 9152 Rat Fight from Berea, Kentucky for their Rookie All-Star Award, as well as 325 Red Spawn Robotics from Hamilton, Ohio for their Engineering Inspiration Award, and Team 2614 Mountaineer Area Robotics Mars on their Impact Award. 2614's Hall of Fame status produced a wild card that allowed 9152 to receive an invite to championships. Next week, we wrap up qualifying events in the South region with the First in Texas Championships, as well as the Green Country and Rocket City Regionals. Teams are going to come out swinging with their last chance to play before Houston in Week 8. Until then, back to Steve to introduce our last region.
Thank you again, James. Before we get into our West region, let's go ahead and start our giveaway. Here to tell you a bit more about it is our producer, Tyler.
Hey, thanks a lot, Steve. We got another fantastic giveaway from our friends at the Thrifty Bot. So if you're interested in winning this incredible $25 gift card, go ahead and type Very Thrifty in chat once again. Make sure you check out thethriftybot.com for all your robotics needs. Of course, great products at even better prices. Go to thriftybot.com and type in Very Thrifty. And also, don't forget you do need to be following the channel in order to be eligible to win. And our subscribers get a little bit extra luck. And we'll draw for this after the show. Good luck, everybody.
Thanks, Tyler. And our final region of the evening is our West region, the best of the West. And we have 5 events to break down and cover. Up first, we have Andre, who's breaking down the PNW District Auburn event. Andre, how was the latest event up in the Pacific Northwest?
Thanks, Steve. This week in Auburn High School in Auburn, Washington, we saw the final debut for many teams before the district championship next week. There are many standout teams across the event. 2046 Bare Metal returning for the third time this season, coming from being one on the first alliance at both their previous events. 3663 coming in strong for their previous event in Bonnie Lake, and 1318 and 4131 both returning as their third plays, both as competitive teams. In qualification matches, 2046 stood out above the rest with fast cycles making them the top seed. Beyond that, there was a lot of competition for the second seed. Notably, 7627 fought through a tough match schedule and were able to land the first pick of the second alliance. In alliance selection, 2046 clawed an alliance of 3663 CPR and 5683 Riverside Robotics. The captain of the second alliance, 1318 IRS, investigated an alliance of 7627 Bearcat Robotics and 3786 the Chargers. In round 1, Alliance 1 beat Alliance 8, putting up triple this score, and moved on to round 2, where they faced Alliance 4. On to round 4, where this alliance faced the second for the first time, where after a close match, Alliance 1 pulled victory and headed to the finals, sending Alliance 2 to the lower bracket. There, they were able to win against the fourth alliance and went on to finals for a rematch against Alliance 1. In the first match, there was a close match with only 5 points deciding it. Alliance 1 pulling victory even with Alliance 2 calling in a backup. In the next match, they were the victors again, crowning them the winners. Congrats to 2046, 3663, and 5683 for winning this event, and to 1318, 7627, 3786, and 8302 for making it to the finals. Also, congrats to 2046 for winning Impact and taking home 2 blue banners, and 2980 for winning Engineering Inspiration. Congrats to all these teams at this event, and good luck to all PNW teams going on to the district championship in a few days. Now, back to you, Steve.
Thanks, Andre. Up next, let's bring back producer Tyler, who is moonlighting as the MC out at the Las Vegas Regional. Tyler, how are things out in Vegas?
Hey, thanks a lot, Steve.
Viva Las Vegas!
The Las Vegas Regional featured 44 teams coming in from the U.S., Brazil, and Canada, and 3 Hall of Fame teams, 597, 359, and 987 attending. This event had a strong top-tier set of teams, with teams like 359, 987, and 4270, who was the number 1 seed in Hawaii just back in Week 4, and also 6560 and 6995 coming in from California. And honestly, the rankings shook up pretty much how I expected. There was a jockeying between 359 and 4270, and big thing here was in qualification match number 87, where 4270 needed 3 RPs or more to maintain the number 1 seed. Looking at this match, I actually thought they weren't going to win, and it was really close as they squeaked out a 113-111 victory to take the number 1 seed at the Las Vegas Regional. It would have been interesting to see if 359 had taken number 1 if they would have picked fellow Hawaiian team 4270 Crusaders or went with the Trend 987, but these 2 points put 4270 in control for a second week in a row. We had a pretty crazy robot fire, by the way, before our last quals match. In match number 88, where Team 9018 turned on their robot and thick black smoke came out. You can see this in clips of the week, but we took off the robot panel, and unfortunately their PDP was on fire. Big shout out, by the way, to FTA Shahar and also head referee Kevin, who really took control of the situation, made it safe for everyone, and even more so when that team had to come back the match after to do a replay, let the team take the time to get their robot back in shape, replace what they needed, and get out on the field. True gracious professionalism by our field crew there, and a big shout out to 9018 as a rookie getting together and getting their team out once again after such a devastating thing to happen to their robot. For playoffs, 4270 Crusaders would pick up 359 Hawaiian Kids and wind up with rookie 9287 Bionic Bengals. 987 the High Rollers would then become the number 2 Alliance captain and pick up 6995 Nomad and 968 Rock. I also thought the number 3 Alliance was well comprised of 6560, 4421, and 6918, but they did have some issues that unfortunately knocked them out just after 2 matches. Number 1 and number 2 would meet in match 11, in a defensive penalty filled match where the number 2 Blue Alliance would prevail, sending number 1 down to the lower bracket, but they would stride back into the finals for some pretty intense rematches. Looking at the alliances, number 1 had a little more firepower, but number 2 had a far superior defensive robot, making this matchup feel kind of even. I wasn't a huge fan of the number 1 alliance's defensive result, especially in Finals 1 with 92-87 providing as much defense against their own alliance in many situations. But I do need to give a big shout out in Finals Match 1, where I think the new meta has really started to evolve here. With about 18 seconds left, 359 with the play climb defense against 987, and it absolutely worked. 987 didn't see it coming, and while I do think 359 should have probably held on for a couple more seconds, it did pay off as 359's buddy climb got them up with 5 seconds to spare, and the number 2 alliance was only able to dock and not able to get their triple engage. This would be a number 1 alliance victory, taking it 151-111. Finals 2 is a little more straightforward and surprisingly penalty-free, with 4270 Crusaders able to continue their cycles as they are typically not targeted for defense. A crucial moment came when 968 for Red became disabled with about a minute left when their bumper fell off. 6995 also tipped over and got stuck in the loading station at 35 seconds, though they were able to right themselves, but this did seal the victory for the number 1 Lions as they would take Finals 2, 143-134. Congratulations to the winners, and big shout out, by the way, to Brandon Hellstrom from 987 and Adventure of Limelight for taking the Woody Flowers Finals Award. Very well deserved, Brandon. Very happy for you. Also, congratulations to 9287 for getting the Rookie All-Star Award and the event win. 8717 Cyber Vipers for EI, and they were also last year's Las Vegas winners. And 2429 La Canada Engineering Club for the first Impact Award. I was so delighted and excited to get to meet so many of you at the Las Vegas Regional, to hear your stories, take a couple selfies, and just have a great time. Thanks to all teams for making this an incredible event, and I can't wait to see you back next year. Back to you, Steve.
Thanks again, Tyler. And bringing us home once again tonight is Stanford, who's breaking down our final 3 events of the week for the West region. First up, we have the Idaho Regional, followed by the Aerospace Regional, and finally the Monterey Bay Regional. Hey, Stanford, looks like some exciting events. How'd things go out at your events this weekend?
It went pretty great, Steve. This year's Idaho Regional saw 48 teams compete in Nampa, Idaho in a battle to see who would emerge with a championship berth. Some notable teams going in were 3647 Millennium Falcons, 6036 Peninsula Robotics, and Idaho's signature squad, 2122 Team Taters. Quals saw 6036 emerge on top, taking only 1 loss in their 11 matches and holding an average score over 15 points above the next best team. Peninsula Robotics would go on to select 3647 and to join them in playoffs, as well as 4175 Coded Summit to round out their coalition. The number 1 alliance would not take the quick route to finals as they lost their second playoff match to the number 5 seed. 5 seeds triple offense and triple balance allowed them to overwhelm number 1 scoring as they got a bit discombobulated on the charge station. After the loss, though, number 1 would turn up the heat a bit as they went down to the lower bracket, winning match 13 against the number 5 alliance that sent them there in the first place. With a spot in finals secured, they would be facing the number 2 alliance of teams 2122 Team Taters, 114 Eagle Strike, and 1891 Bullbots. After number 1 dropping down to the lower bracket, it would be number 2 taking the quick route to finals, winning all of their upper bracket matches emphatically. After we got to see how these alliances performed, we knew finals would be incredibly close. Finals 1 saw both alliances run completely different strategies, with number 1 using 2 offense, 1 defense, and number 2 using triple offense, which was very exciting to see, especially in a finals match. These alliances were incredibly close for pretty much the entire match, but number 2's triple balance allowed them to take finals match number 1. Finals 2 was a similar story until 1891 tipped over. Eagle Strike made a valiant effort to right their partners, but that endeavor was not successful as the number 2 alliance would not be able to triple balance an endgame. Paired with number 1's relentless scoring, number 2 would lose the match and send finals to a tiebreaker showdown. Finals 3 was still incredibly close, but saw the number 1 alliance coming out on top. However, that is not what was displayed when the scores were shown. The final scores initially showed number 2 winning Finals 3, but this immediately came under question. The referees had missed putting in a charge station score, which is not noticed until after the final results were shown. After 20 minutes of deliberation, the scores were updated to show the correct victor. Congratulations to the number 1 alliance of Team 6036 Peninsula Robotics, 3647 Millennium Falcons, and 41 75 Coated Summit winning their first ever event. Also now headed to Houston are teams 3256 Warrior Borgs, who won Impact, 6358 the Booming Operators, who won EI, and 9044 Teravikes, who won Rookie All-Star. Congratulations to all the teams who qualified, and I can't wait to see what you guys can do at Champs. Moving on to the Golden State now, 621 miles away, this year's Aerospace Valley Regional played out in Lancaster, California. Notable teams in attendance included 7157 Robotics, 4414 High Tide, 3476 Code Orange, and 4415 Epic Robots, who were all sure to make this event one crazy show. Being tied for the smallest event in California with 36 teams in attendance, the teams would get quicker turnaround times than they were used to, as well as more qual matches. After a little bit of a rough start, 7157 got into a rhythm of insane performance and locked up the number 1 seed on the second day of quals. The final qual match was interesting as it had the 1, 2, 3, and 4 seeds at the time playing simultaneously. One of 7157's partners in that match would become their eliminations ally, as High Tide joined the number 1 seed alliance as the first pick, and 7042 Poly Robotics joining as the second pick. This alliance stormed their way into finals, winning all their upper bracket matches by no less than 28 points. In finals, they would encounter the number 3 alliance of teams 2073 Eagle Force, 4415 Epic Robots, and 6657 R Robotics. These guys only lost match 11 in their journey to finals, but defeated the number 5 seed in match 13 to secure their spot in the best of 3 series. Number 3 put up a stout fight in finals 1, but the power of Robotics and High Tide was just overwhelming as the number 1 seed took the penalty-ridden finals 1 with a score of 185 to 143. It was looking good for number 1 as they headed into finals 2, and they showed up in full force. Victory looked even closer as number 3 lost 44-15 as a score as their claw broke and they were stuck playing defense for nearly the entire match. Despite that, 7157, 4414, and 7042 all cycled like maniacs and completely filled up their grid for 180 clean points. 7157 has a robot POV of the match on YouTube, and I highly recommend you go watch it to go see their driving. It's incredible. Congratulations to the winners, led by 7157 Robotics, who are taking their well-deserved first ever blue banner after 3 straight final appearances last year. 4414 High Tide taking their 3rd regional win in a row this year, and 7042 Poly Robotics also taking their first ever blue banner. More teams qualifying for champs of this event are teams 3749 Team Optics, who won Impact, 399 Eagle Robotics took Engineering Inspiration, and 2073 getting a wild card, courtesy of previous regional winners 4414 taking another regional win. Shout out to all the teams who put on a fantastic show, and good luck at champs to those who qualified. Finally, 251 miles away, this year's Monterey Bay Regional saw 36 teams battle it out for top honors at Seaside High School. Teams drawing attention to the event were 1323 Madtown Robotics, 971 Spartan Robotics, and 15940 Bread, who all looked to be in fine form to take victory. Hype for this event was through the roof even before the qualification schedule had been released, as 1323, 5940, and 3970 played a perfect practice match, scoring all 193 possible clean points. As official matches got underway, 1323 continued their Central Valley form, being a dominant force out on the field. Madtown went completely undefeated and got every possible bonus RP during quals to take the top spot in the standings with a 4.0 ranking score. Just like last year, they would select 5940 Bread to be their playoff partner. Rounding out the number 1 alliance would be Team 6998 Unipards, the only international squad in attendance. Number 1 would make their way through the upper bracket with relative ease, putting up some ridiculously high scores in the process. In finals, they'd meet the number 2 alliance led by Team 971 Spartan Robotics, who selected Team 8033 Highlander Robotics and Team 668 Apes of Wrath to be part of their Eliminations Alliance. This band of 3 teams would only lose match 11 in their path to finals, and because of that, they would have to defeat a strong number 6 seed in match 13 to secure their finals berth. Finals number one saw the number 1 seed continue their relentless scoring and incredible defense courtesy of 6998 as they overwhelmed the number 2 seed and won the first finals match with a score of 184 to 152. Finals 2 was a similar story with number 1 scoring like crazy and 971 facing some of the toughest defense I've seen this year. Their alliance did play some awesome counter D though, with 668 trying to pull the defender away from their captain. Both alliances had major problems on the charge stations, with number 2 failing to balance and number 1 having Bread's fork climb not go as planned. The scores were tabulated, and the number 1 alliance became your Monterey Bay regional champions with a score of 158 to 150. Congratulations to the 1323 Macon Robotics and 5940 Bread for winning this event together for the second year in a row, and Team 6998 Unipards, who won their first ever event alongside getting the Engineering Inspiration Award. Other teams punching their ticket to champs are 2486 Coconuts, who won Impact, and 9125 Mechanical Magicians, who took home Rookie All-Star. 8033 Highlander Robotics also received a wild card and a deserved championship spot. Back to you, Steve.
Thanks, Stanford. I love those repeated successful team ups. And thank you guys for tuning in to FRC Recap for week 5 of the Charged Up season. If you're watching live, stay tuned for FRC Roundup for our open table discussion on Charged Up for this week and beyond with guest Libby Kamen from 1923 Midnight Inventors. Special thanks to all of those who clicked that follow button or stepped up to help fund with a Twitch subscription or donation. Your support really helps continue to make great content. Don't forget, you can watch FRC Recap archived at youtube.com/firstupdatesnow. On behalf of producer Tyler Olds and all of our fun correspondents, I'm Steve Londo. Thanks for watching and good luck to all teams competing in week 6 and beyond. See you next week on FRC Recap.
This video on First Updates Now is made possible by viewers like you and also the following sponsors. Kettering University is looking for talented robotics students who want to continue learning and innovating in a hands-on, real-world experience format. Kettering University representatives will be at dozens of FIRST events this season, including the championship. Go to kettering.edu/first to see which events you can meet a Kettering University representative. FRC competition season is here. Submit your favorite moments to FRC Clips of the Week by each Sunday at discord.gg/firstupdatesnow. Also, the FRC Top 25 poll is open Sunday 5 p.m. Eastern to Monday 5 p.m. Eastern, where you can vote for your top 25 teams of the week at firstupdatesnow.com/FRC Top 25. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on our new videos. Keep the conversation going and provide your input to our content. Watch our live shows at twitch.tv/firstupdatesnow. Join our Discord at discord.gg/firstupdatesnow and check out Fun FTC on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and First Updates Now on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter.